The helicopter world gathers in Portugal. Would you like your own supersonic bizjet? And is this the future of personal travel? I'm Vicky Ferrer and this is FullFlat.tv Connect. Helitech is about to kick off in Portugal at the end of this week. It's a big trade show for, well, helicopters, and the emphasis this time is on firefighting. There are some personal flying machine exhibitors there too, with Ocean Wings, for example, showing off their Robinson R44 simulators. If you are going, and do remember it's only a trade show, then the organisers tell us there will be a fleet of helicopters waiting to take you from Lisbon Airport to the venue. In fact, talking of helicopters, there's been a big growth in demand in Eastern Europe, so much so that there's now going to be an event for helicopters next year at Heli-Expo Europe in Prague. Imagine avgas prices going up by 40 British pence per litre. That's the same as $3 per US gallon. The EU wanted it. Not surprisingly, pilots in the UK didn't. AOPA in Great Britain took on the aviation case and say they've now found a way of avoiding the price hikes. It's a bit technical, but basically avgas will now be considered a specialist fuel. Whatever the legal jargon, AOPA thinks this is the only fair way of doing it. They say the vast majority of avgas is used in training and development. In other words, it supports economy and jobs. Time for the cool aircraft section of the show. A lot of aircraft look the same, but you couldn't say that about this one. Dornier are setting up in the US, or at least they hope to. They want to make all composite aircraft entirely in the US, but need $150 million to make it happen. If they can find the cash, they hope to be offering the Seastar in the next few years. It carries 12 passengers at 209 miles per hour for around 1,000 miles. NBAA is over, and once again there's so much to read out there that I suggest you just enter NBAA in any search engine and you'll be overloaded with stories. But with all this talk of very light jets, you might be wondering how you get to fly one. Well, they're aimed at you. That means that instead of getting in a propeller aircraft, you get to get in your jet, crank up the power and whistle into the air at staggering speeds. It's a bit like the Bugatti Veyron, only faster. But unfortunately, it's not quite as simple as turning the key and shouting out the window, "Clear prop." The manufacturers like Diamond realise this. They also realise that private jet pilots don't want to spend years studying to get commercial licences just so they can fly their jets. Instead, they've developed new courses designed especially for you. Diamond themselves have just announced that they'll be working with this firm across the US to provide training. Talking of the D-Jet, they've also just flown it with a new Williams engine. It should mean that in the long term you'll get more speed from the jet, although it could mean some slight delays in the aircraft finally coming to the showroom. Here's another aircraft that was at the NBAA last week. Luckily they weren't trying to market this as a bizjet. It's just a copy of one of the Wright brothers' early aircraft. Also at NBAA was a more talk of supersonic business jet from Veyron. The designers think it will be ready by 2014. It will fly at 45,000 feet and cost around $18 million. If you're wondering about exact speeds, then obviously there isn't much point talking in knots or miles per hour. It should do about Mach 1.15 over land to avoid upsetting everyone with sonic booms, while everywhere else it should be able to cruise at about Mach 1.6. We'll see if that date slips, but there seems to be some interest, with the firm saying they already have 50 orders. If you're looking for an aircraft, one of the hardest things to work out is what it's really going to cost. Many of the magazines have price comparison guides, but there's also software out there to do it for you. Conklin and Dedeker tell us they've upgraded theirs with more aircraft, including the ever-popular Cirrus G3 SR22. The software costs around $500. Now, being a dog isn't always easy. For strays in areas where there are lots of stray animals, your chance of being rescued are pretty slim. But in some part of the United States, they're actually crying out for dogs. To give these animals a new home normally means taking them by road on long, stressful journeys. I think you know where I'm going with this. This is where pilots and paws step in. These guys and girls are picking up the strays and taking them in short hops to a new home. They say they've already rescued 60 dogs so far this way, and they now want more help to rescue some more. A big hello if you're watching on Aero Expo's website. We'll have all the Aero Expo Europe event news for you on FullFlat.tv. Also, a big hello if you're watching on the wingschannel.com or askbob.aero. Hi to all of you. And if you can't remember to check the websites for each update, don't forget you can subscribe for free via iTunes or YouTube. We're back next week. I'm Vicky Ferrer.